Simplifying radicals. Now, you may have seen a previous video from me on how to simplify radicals. I'm going to do a variation of maybe those videos, but what I like to do first is to do one by hand. So let's do the square root of 40 first. So what we want to do, we want to find all the pairs of numbers that multiply together to give us 40. So let's see. 1 times 40 is 40. 2 times 20, 3 won't divide into 40, but 4 will. It goes 10 times. 5 will. It goes 8 times. 6 won't, 7 won't, and we've already got the 8, so that means we have all of our pairs. And we want to use this pair because 4 is the only number that's a perfect square of all these sets. Besides the 1, we don't care about 1s though. So, what that means is, I'm going to rewrite square root of 40 as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10, and that's the same as 2 square root of 10. Now the idea that I have for this video actually comes from this guy, Bobby Hostler. So if you want to watch his video, because this is where he's the first one that I saw that actually did this process, and I really like it. You want to go to YouTube and just search simplifying radicals using TI-83. So I'm going to give him credit because he's the one that thought of it, as far as I know. So I'm taking out my calculator, my TI-83. 84 is fine also. I'm going to go to y equals. Now, in previous videos, I typed in 40 divided by x. Well, Bobby says to type in 40 divided by x squared. And I'll explain that here in just a second why. I want to go to the table. The table is here, but it's yellow, so hit the yellow key first and then the graph key. And what this shows us, it does show these pairs of numbers. So this option does it for us. But slightly differently though, because now you see that 2 times 10 is not 40. But you have to remember what we typed in. We typed in 40 divided by x squared. What that means is that this is not actually 2, it's actually 2 squared, which is 4. So this is 2 squared times 10, which is 40. And the great thing about that is since that it's same as 2 squared, which is 4, well, the square root of 4 is 2. It provides us with the square root number that goes on the outside already, because that's actually a 2 squared times 10, and 2 squared is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. That's the reason why you type in 40 divided by x squared, because the x value has already been square rooted. So let's do a couple more and see how that looks. So we're going to do 18 divided by x squared. And what you want to think about is, we'll do it the real way. I don't look at decimals first off. So we have 1 and 18, and 1 squared is 1, and 18, I don't ever look at those, because square root of 1 doesn't help us much. Now 3 squared is 9, so that's the same as 9 times 2, which is 18, and the square root of 9 is 3. And once you get past the 2, you really can't look at anything else. So that means is our answer is 3 square root of 2. Now let's do the square root of 80. Same way, 80 divided by x squared. Go to the table. Now notice on this one we have several numbers. Let's see what happens. We have 2 squared, which is 4. 4 times 20 is 80. But we have other numbers. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 5 is 80. And we can keep on going down. In actuality, we don't have to go that far, because once we get past 2, there's nothing to look at, because we don't ever use 1s in our answer. The idea behind this is that since these numbers are the ones that are squared, which means we're going to find the square root of them, the number that remains is the smallest number that can be left underneath the radical sign. So the rule is, look for the smallest number in the y1 column, and that number is 5. And once you find it, there's your answer, 4 square root of 5. So if you want to do just a few more, I like using 48. It's one of my favorite numbers. And we'll do some big numbers. Let's do 240. So the square root of 48, go to y equals, type in 48 divided by x squared, second graph. And basically all you're doing is looking for the smallest number in the y1 column, and there y3 is the smallest number, so your answer is 4 squared of 3. Let's do 240. 240 divided by x squared, and looking for the smallest number in our y1 column. So I have a 15 right now. So if you have anything else, once I get past 2, I don't care anymore. So there's the answer, 4 square root of 15. And I do believe that this is by far the easiest way. Now this also works if you're doing like cube roots of numbers. Like if you're doing the cube root of 16, for example. And Bobby just mentioned this in his video. Instead of dividing by x squared, you'll do x cubed. I'm just going to use that key. So you're looking for the smallest number. The smallest, it's actually the smallest whole number in the y1 column. Let me see what I typed in. Make sure you type in the right number. So it's in 16 divided by x squared. Learn from my mistakes, always. Just pays to be careful though. So 16 divided by x cubed. And like I said, we don't care about going less than 2, because that involves ones. We don't care about those numbers. So the answer is 2 cube root of 2. So you want to say it's a square root, but it's not. We're doing cube roots for this example. So this is just an extra example that you may or may not need for my class. But there it is, just in case you need it for another class. So it works. If you're finding fourth roots of numbers, simplifying fourth roots, divide by x to the fourth, and so on, so on, so on. I really do believe this is the easiest way. It's the easiest way I've ever seen.